to the success of that process that you've discovered is in the appreciation. Because in the appreciation, you're acknowledging the vibrational resonance, the vibrational integrity of what you're doing. Just keeping the journal in a sort of attitude of justification would actually backfire.
Got it.
But as you are noting and in your noticing and in your recording and in your appreciating, it's appreciation is the most important part, you are actually practicing the vibration of success. So when someone says to you, well, what's your strategy? You say, well, success comes to all of us. I'm just good at noticing it. And when I see it, even if it is a small version of a bigger picture that I'm wanting, I notice it and I practice the feeling of appreciation within it. And then I'm noticing, you could say, that law of attraction, if they're ready for those words. If not, you could use the word momentum. That there is a momentum that responds to whatever I'm feeling. So if I'm focusing with appreciation on something that feels good to me, it always becomes more. You could say, if they want a label of who you are, what do you do? What is your strategy? What is your plan? You could say, I'm intuitive. My strategy is to not get in my own way. My strategy is to sniff out or feel my way to the path of least resistance. Because before, when I was justifying my life, when I was more determined and efforting, I got tired because I realized I was bucking my own current. So I've stopped bucking my own current, and I'm now intuitively following the path of least resistance. It feels to me that somehow there's a path that is not laid out for me, but laid out for me by me. I have this plan. And you could say to them, you might laugh, but this is my plan. And this is the extent of my plan. When I feel really, really good all the time. And I figured out how to do that with focus. And so that's my strategy. Now, some aren't ready for it, but those who are ready for it will discover a resonance, the same resonance that you're discovering. There's a leverage in alignment that just doesn't come in any other way. And you just can't get around it. Oh, you can move a lot of things around. You can work hard. You can have plans. You can go through the motions of things. But the majority of processes that people are applying as they're going through the motions in order to justify the good that's already come or the good that they're wanting to come causes them to practice a frequency that actually throws things on their path of least resistance and slows things down. That's why people keep coming up with more and more processes and more plans, because they continue to sort of junk up their own trail. They don't need to. And yet, you're not wanting to honor their flawed belief systems that are holding them back.
Right.
That's the tricky part about approaching people who maybe aren't ready for the intuitive part of this. But as you begin speaking, as you continue to speak more and more in terms of what you know to be, use words like gut feelings, intuition, right place, right time, things lining up, unseen forces, trends in the marketplace, sensing of what those trends are, aligning well, being more efficient, having more fun in all of it, not trying so hard, getting out of your own way. All of them understand all of that. Use sports metaphors. It's like having trained your physical body into capability along with everybody else that's playing this game in a similar way, but having the edge because you are intuitively knowing where that guy's going to be. You already know how tall he is. Those stats are available to everyone. You know how tall he is. You know how often he makes that shot. You know how often he assists. You know how often he plays the game well. You know how many wins and how many losses. You know a lot about that guy. But right here, right now is the only thing you want to know. And what you want to know right here, right now is where is he going to be in relationship to where you're going to be? What's his relationship going to be in relationship to what you want? This is in the moment timing that you're teaching them. You can't teach someone how to be in the right place at the right time in a dynamic, moving basketball game or in a dynamic, moving economic market. So what you're teaching them is fluidity. What you're teaching them is sensitivity. What you're teaching them is intuition. And if they don't want to know about that, then they're going to play a mediocre game, because they're just going to throw a whole lot of mud on the wall and some of it's going to stick. But none of it is going to be satisfying, you see. Well, here's the thing. The universe doesn't hear what you say. The universe hears what you mean. Because the universe hears your vibration. And don't worry about it, because you're not going to get where you want to be ultimately in this brief conversation. We're not asking you to give us the perfect words. Really, all we want to do is just find a little less wobble in your story. Because we know that you have really solid things about your story that if you would tell them and tell them to us now, it would serve you so well. It would begin a positive momentum. Simple things. Now, what Wobble-Free is something that sort of kind of goes along with the desires that you hold, because your desires are pulsing. Oh, the desire that is swirling around you is really, really big. It's magnificent to see. So the desire that you hold is really, really big. What we're asking from you right here and now are some words that go along with that desire, that don't hinder it, that don't try to explain anything, that don't try to justify anything or rationalize anything. They go along with the desire that you hold. Simple things, and here's the key. Simple things that you already believe. Wobble-free, good-feeling things that you already believe about you and your story. So that's a good concept. And it's certainly what we want you all to come to. It doesn't exactly apply right here and now, given the beating up that we've just been doing on you. We've made you a little self-conscious, and you're thinking about where you want to go, and your questions are more active in your vibration than your receptiveness of your answer. And that's so normal under these conditions. So we're just going to ramble here sort of meaninglessly and aimlessly here for a little bit till you just sort of settle down into things that you know about you relative to that. And that's a good statement. That's the first statement you've made since you sat down that is exactly the vibration that you're offering. That's exactly the vibration that you're offering to the universe. I'm good at this sometimes.
Yeah.
We left a little bit of your story off that you put in just now. We just told the part that really resonates with the story that you're really wanting to tell, with the true story. We just tell the parts of the story that are really true. You're good at this. You're good at this. That's really true. You told, you keep telling that other version that's not as true. Because you're telling the version about what has been. We're telling the version about what is, you see. So you keep wanting to explain it more fully. And you know why? Because you've had people around you your whole life that have been standing back and looking at the results of your life experience. Just looking at you and taking score, looking at you and taking score. And you think you've got to be candid with them because you sure don't want them to catch you in a half-truth. But we do. We want you to only tell it as we know it to be. You're good at this and getting better at it. And it's easier all the time. And some things are easier to understand than others. And you really understand the concepts, and you are a fantastic coach. And you are so good when you talk with other people about it because their wobble is irrelevant to you. You don't know enough about them. You're just reflecting back to them the truths that you're feeling in this moment. Their past experience isn't so active in your vibration as your past experience. Your past experience is fading the parts of it that aren't helpful. Oh, there's a lot of your past experience that's really helpful. You bring pieces into that all the time. You're really good at this and getting better at it every day. And the evidence to reflect how well you're doing is showing up all over the place. And when it's just you and the evidence, you recognize it more and more. Sometimes, in an effort to explain it to others who aren't ready, you sort of shoot yourself in the foot. Can you feel the difference between some people that are so hungry and ready that everything you say, you can feel them taking it in? And sometimes you can tell they're just not having any of it. They don't believe what you're saying about them. They really don't think it's going to happen. And so what you want to do for a little while, just at least for the rest of this day, be your own best client. Just have a conversation with yourself about what you want. When you tell a story that says, sometimes I do a good job at this and sometimes I don't, right. It's like you're deliberately introducing the wobble into the conversation. Universe, I know that there's a whole lot of things I want, and I know you've got them all lined up for me. But I want you to know that I'm not going to make it easy because I really don't feel deserving of all of that good stuff. And the reason I know I'm not deserving is because it's not coming to me quickly. And I think I figured out why it's not coming to me quickly. I'm not very good at this yet. Sometimes I'm good at it, and sometimes I'm not good at it. So you guys just keep lining things up and get it all in the vortex. And sometimes when I'm not paying attention to what I'm saying, you can just slip it through the crack for me. And I'll meditate as much as I can, and I'll sleep a lot, and I'll try to be distracted from the crappy job I'm doing with things. But I just want to be completely candid with you. I'm not very good at this. And so I know there's a lot of things in my vibrational vortex that I'm just not going to realize anytime soon. Because sometimes I'm good at it and sometimes I'm not good at it. Mostly I'm not that very good at it. I would like to be better at it, but I'm not that good at it. I'm really not that good at it. Some people are better at it than I am. And there have been little snatches in my life when I was a little better at it than others, but mostly I'm just not that good at it. I'm actually surprised that I'm as successful as I am. I must have done something really good in a past life because I'm really successful. Things happen well for me, but I've got this shoot myself in my own foot thing going on, and so I don't expect big things. I want big things. I want big things, universe. I want really big things. Here's my list, but I don't expect any of them to come because...
Sometimes.
Because exactly.
On and on.
So we exaggerated that a little tiny bit. Just a little tiny bit. And you're really on the right track as you are coaching people to tell a different story. You've just got to tell the story in a way that you believe it. See, what's happening to you is you're telling parts of your story that you're challenging right while you're telling the story. And that never felt right to you because when you told a story to your mother, she nailed you every single time. Do not fib to me. Do not say things that are not true. Do not make things up. Do not fantasize. That's been the way that most of you have been trained. And so it's not easy for you to tell a story that doesn't clearly define exactly what's been going on. But all that telling the story about what's been going on does is keep it going on. That's all that happens. You keep saying it and it keeps happening. You keep saying it and it keeps happening. And you say it's true. We'll put that on your tombstone. I told you. Sometimes. It's great fun, isn't it, to mold it into place and to get clear about who you are. It feels good to tell a story about something that you want, but here's something really, really important. Wow. This is the best conversation we've ever had about deliberate creation. It is. When you say something that you don't mean, you feel the discord in that so much. So you're speaking the case that we're speaking here, the Wobble-Free case, because you can't jump in the middle of a belief and change it just by saying it with different words. You can't even bring yourself to say things that you don't really believe, you see. And that really is a better thing than you know, because it doesn't matter if you say things you don't believe. There are a lot of people that sit here and they sound really good, but they don't mean it. We would far rather that you be accurately in touch with what you mean with your words, because now you know where you are. And we don't want you to give us the words that you think we want to hear. We want you to find the vibration that feels good when you find it.